Howell.
Thank you indeed, Mr. Rossendale, and it's a great pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, and it's a great pleasure to follow the honourable member for the City of Chester, and I agree with everything he said. I want to widen this out onto an international stage for a moment. In my own constituency, I have a programme called Conversations in the Street, in which I go round the villages and people come up and tell me what's on their mind. And one of them came up on their mind and said, I want to discuss elephants with you. And on the Twitter feed in which I described this, I just put down issues raised, elephants. And the Twitter feed on this was absolutely killing in terms of what it said about this. And I thought that was utterly pathetic, because this lady had genuinely raised the question of what we were doing to protect elephants and wanted an answer for that. I think that our attitude towards elephants, and particularly the crimes that come up against them, is absolutely shaming for our generation. And when you think of the amount of illegal trafficking that goes on both in live and in dead animals, it is the fourth largest international trade. It comes after trade in drugs, after trade in people, and after trade in counterfeiting. So that accounts for something like £15 billion per year that is spent on this. Now, I've mentioned elephants, and of course we as a government have done a tremendous amount to ban the sale of ivory, which I very much welcome, and to protect what is going on with elephants. But there is one aspect of elephants that I would like to bring up, and that is the growing threat to elephants from the illegal trade in live elements. And live animals. Now, this occurs for a number of reasons, but it occurs principally to try to make tourism better and to make entertainment better. And we see that the UK has been working through a number of organisations to prevent this happening. It is illegal in many aspects, and it does prevent particularly a growing threat to the Asian elephant who suffers most from this. My honourable friend also mentioned birds in the Mediterranean, and I would like to highlight the enormous difficulty that we have in trying to control the killing of birds, particularly in Malta. And one of the things that we ought to concentrate on is the annual spring hunt in Malta, which is still legal there, but it leads to the deaths of an enormous number of birds. And I think we ought to do all we can to try to stamp that out. We had a very successful international conference in the UK on this subject in 2014. I think we've had another one in 2018. And I do commend the government for its stand in this. I know that members have spoken about the crimes that take place in the UK, but I don't think that we should forget that we live in a global world, and if we are protecting animals, and our hearts go out to everyone who protects animals, we need to look at that from an international perspective, and I hope the honourable gentleman will accept my remarks in the spirit in which I